We put our advisory board together, and it was kind of like what Bill talked about. We got a couple people to agree to be on our advisory board, and those first few people were kind of dipping their toe in the water. And when I put together the advisory board plan, I had a couple of my management team and one of my board of directors saying, wow, this is too much stock. You're going to give we actually gave a 0.25% vesting over 2 years, 1 month, monthly vesting. And some of them I gave a 0.5 point. Some people actually, we did a recapitalization round, so we had the stock really cheaply, and they actually put some money in and got quite a few shares. So we had some people that were able to participate in our down round and get some stock at a really great price. And so we sort of did that. But my point of view was, listen, if I don't get credibility in this company, and if I don't get some people that can put us in touch right away with, customers, with strategic partners, with venture capitalists, and really turn this thing around. And oh, by the way, when you do a startup, it's a race. It isn't a jogathon. It's not it's a race. So you can sit there and go, oh, I got all these poker chips and I'm just going to dole this one out and dole that one out. And that's a really bad strategy. So you need to really, there really aren't a lot of rules, but don't be stingy with your options, and make sure you get the right people in, and make sure that you compensate them with options appropriately. We have about a dozen right now. Yeah, and kind of on the number part, and Bill talked about this a little bit. When we started, you can't come out of the gate with, 20 people, because you just can't manage that many people. So we got, so I would recommend start with 4 to 6, because if you have a party and there's only 2 people there, it's not much of a party. So I would start with 4 to 6 and put that together, kind of get everybody to gel, how you work with them, get into a rhythm, and then I would just always be on the lookout for new people. And on airplanes and meetings and conferences. I actually met the CFO person. I went to a big trade show in Las Vegas, got invited to some cocktail party some VC was doing, started talking to this lady. I had no idea who she was. And I said, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm the CFO of XYZ company. And I said, wow, that's impressive. Give me your card. And that's when I recruited her. So that's kind of how you do it. But I think the right number is probably somewhere between 6 and 15 maybe, and it depends on what kind of skill sets. Also, kind of brings up a point of, and Bill kind of mentioned this a little bit, is that your board of advisors needs to evolve. The people that I needed to save the company and turn around the company are a different set of people that I need now that I'm at market and I'm dealing with large healthcare organizations and big EMR systems and data analytics. So it's a different set of people, and so you need to be looking for new talent, and on a 2-year plan you can kind of phase some people out, bring some new people in, and continuously have your board of advisors fit your company. As far as asking my advisors for money, we were, looking under seat cushions for spare change when I first started, because we wanted to have, $1,050 in the bank. And it was really tempting to get these advisors on and then just go with your hand out. But that's a bad idea. You need to engage them, as Martha said, first. And your primary directive should not be raising money. That's kind of a consequence of what you do. And it would be like inviting people to lunch. Hey, could you come to lunch with me? Yeah, sure. And then when the bill comes, you run away. And so pretty soon, after a while, nobody's going to go to lunch with you if that's your only goal, is to get a free lunch. So it has to be a lot more subtle to that. You have to prove yourself to your advisors. You have to get them engaged. And then as a consequence, they'll want to put money in. And in fact, we had several of our advisors were miffed at me because I never asked them for any money, and we had someone come in and they basically did the Series A round, and they did it quickly. And so I didn't have time to call everybody up, hey, you want to participate, et cetera, et cetera. They just came in, took the whole deal, and we were going to carve out a space for them. So I had guys calling me for 2 or 3 weeks going, hey, how come I didn't get to invest? I wanted to put some money in. You never asked me, you know. So those are high-level problems to have, and you can sort those out later. But it's better to have that situation than to have people, you know, you walk down the hall and they duck around the corner, you know, sort of thing. So that's my advice on that. For our board of advisors, it's like what Bill was talking about. It's a great farm team. We have people that we're looking at and kind of watching, seeing how they're involved with the company, and we might pull them onto the board of directors. Additionally, I'll get something that comes up and I'll say, somebody will say, hey, how does your software fit into a meaningful use category and HIPAA certification? And oh, by the way, the data analytics, what are your security protocols and your de-identification protocols? And I look around at my staff and I go, you know, geez, that kind of gives me a headache thinking about it. But you look at your board of advisors and you say, oh, I've got a Harvard-trained cardiologist who has specialization in healthcare protocols and the latest you know, laws and mandates, and I've got a computer science healthcare IT guy who can probably in about you know, a couple hours write me an entire white paper on what to do with our you know, database protocols. And so call them in and I'll say, you know, I probably can't buy you enough Starbucks coffee to really justify this, so here's a project. I need you to spend 20 hours on it. You know, here, I'll write you up a statement of work, and it turns into a consulting project where I'm actually paying them to do a consulting project and a deliverable for the company. So it's beyond just kind of a board of advisor thing. So I've done that on at least 4 occasions now. We have just a set standard option plan for our board of advisors, and we have one for our directors. But for our board of advisors, we have a SPIF program, and so and we also incentivize them to do things. So if somebody brings me into an account, I pay them $1,500, and it's a and I let them know that. So I've got a guy who was CEO of a major healthcare system. He's calling all his buddies, and now I've got sales guys flying all over the country because he's just, you know, and you think, God, it's $1,500 and this guy's worth $1 gazillion and lives in Rancho Santa Fe, but it's kind of the sport of it. I had another advisor. I was sitting in the office, hey, what are you working on? And I said, yeah, we got this customer, that customer, and we're working with a major healthcare system in New York. And he goes, oh, I went to school with the CEO. And I said, okay, yeah, great. And he goes, no, really, I went to prep school with him and I went to Harvard with him and we're like really good friends. And I said, oh. And he goes, I'll call him right now. And he calls him, and next thing you know, we have a dinner scheduled with the CEO, and he said, yeah, it's a done deal, we'll get you in, no problem. So that's a big deal, and so we're gonna, you know, throw some cash his way and some options. So you've got some flexibility in that regard, and it's all about people, and it's all about incentivizing people to work for you. It's all about motivating people, and you have to have fun too. And one of the really cool things that we did was I have an advisor who, you know, Harvard MD, world-class heart surgeon. He's got a business background. He was chief medical officer for a company that sold for $190 million. So his credentials on paper were really great. But then I was talking to him and I was thinking about getting him on the advisory board. But then he mentioned that he had a 7,000 bottle wine cellar. And I said, oh, I got to have this guy. And so we got him on the advisory board, and then he came in for a meeting and I said, hey. So, you know, all those...
Especially since we know he can't drink it that fast.
That's right, exactly. I said, all those wine bottles are just collecting dust, you know, and we can help you out with that. So we put together a wine tasting at his house, and it cost us, I don't know, like $500 for the catering. I said, I'll pick up the catering, don't worry, you just provide the wine. And he was cracking open these, and I'm not a huge wine guy, but I mean these, you know, 1987 wines from Bordeaux and Spain and all this stuff, and it was, everybody had a great time. And so that sort of thing, as people, it's like the party. Everybody goes, hey, I want to go to that party. So you can do things that are, you know, non-cash that really get people motivated and excited to be on your board.